The stars were quiet that night. A giant spaceport floated above the planet Tar-Sitseven, full of lightships and travelers from 100 galaxies. Robots walked beside aliens. Children ran with floating toys. Merchants shouted in 10 languages. But everything stopped when she arrived. A small shuttle landed without warning. It had no flag, no ID code. A strange black mist surrounded it. People watched in silence as the door slowly opened. A girl stepped out. She looked about 18 years old. Tall, thin. She wore a simple black cloak. But her skin glowed like the night sky, deep black, with tiny stars moving inside. It was beautiful. It was terrifying. People stepped back. Mothers pulled their children away. One man whispered, "She's cursed." Another said, "I heard her kind destroyed a whole son." A guard raised his weapon. "Stop. Identify yourself." The girl said nothing. She looked around slowly, eyes full of sadness. Her name was Zura, but no one asked. They only stared everywhere. She went. It was the same fear. Hate. Zura kept walking. Her boots echoed on the metal floor. She didn't look scared. She looked tired. In a corner of the spaceport, a young human mechanic named Jace was fixing a broken cargo bot. He noticed the crowd, then saw the girl. His first thought wasn't fear. It was curiosity. "Who is she?" he whispered. He watched her walk past security, through the crowd, and into the hangar bay. No one stopped her. They only watched, like she was a ghost. Hours passed. Zura sat alone inside the hangar, near a quiet ship that hadn't flown in years. She sat with her knees up, arms wrapped around them. A small spark of energy danced across her fingers. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. She hadn't spoken to anyone in 6. She thought of her home burned, long ago, her people hunted. Her mother's voice, soft and brave. "You carry the light, my child, even if they fear it." Her stomach growled. She didn't move. Jace entered the hangar with a toolbox in hand. He was fixing some broken pipes. When he saw her, he froze. She looked up. Their eyes met. He took a step back. Her skin glowed gently, as if it breathed. He didn't run. Instead, he reached into his bag and pulled out a water bottle. "Thirsty?" he asked, his voice calm. Zura blinked. Slowly, she reached out. Her fingers touched the bottle. The lights in the hangar flickered. Jace's hand shook, but he didn't drop the bottle. She took it, drank slowly, then looked at him. "Thank you," she said, softly. Jace smiled. "You're welcome." Behind a wall, hidden in shadows, 2 small red eyes watched them. A silent message was sent through space. "Target located. Begin extraction." Back in the hangar, Jace sat beside her. "You got a name?" he asked. Zura. "That's nice. I'm Jace." She looked at him for a moment. "You're not scared of me?" He thought for a moment. "No. Should I be?" She didn't answer. Instead, she asked, "Why did you help me?" Jace shrugged. "You looked like you needed it, that's all." Zura looked away. "Most people run, or stare, or call me names. I don't care what color your skin is." Jace said, "You're just someone like me." For the first time in days, Zura smiled. Suddenly, a voice rang through the loudspeakers. "Security. Alert. Unknown energy detected. All civilians evacuate Sector 9 immediately." Zura stood up quickly. Her hands glowed. Jace looked around. "What's going on?" "They found me," she said. "Who?" "Everyone." Zura turned toward the door. "We need to go." Jace hesitated. Where she looked at him. "Do you trust me?" Jace looked into her glowing eyes. He nodded. Double quotes, "Yeah, I do." As they ran into the old ship, lights flickered again. Sparks flew from the walls. The ship came to life. In the distance, a dog ship entered the atmosphere, black, fast, and full of weapons. Zura sat in the pilot's seat. Her hands hovered over the controls like she'd done this before. Jace stared. "You can fly this." She didn't answer. The ship lifted into the air as they disappeared into the stars. Zura whispered to herself, "They'll never stop hunting me. But now, I'm not alone." The stars were burning. At least, that's how it looked from the tiny window of the ship. Zura sat in silence. Her fingers rested on the control panel, but her mind was far away. Lights blinked. Engines hummed. But inside her, something colder moved. She had run all her life. But this time, someone had run with her. Jack sat behind her, strapping himself into the co-pilot seat. He had oil stains on his shirt, dust in his hair, and a bandage on his cheek. from a pipe that exploded during takeoff. But he was smiling. I still don't know how you made this ship fly. He said. Zura didn't smile back. It remembered me. Jace blinked. What? Zura turned to him. This ship. It's from my people. It responded to my energy. That's why it woke up. Jace leaned back slowly. Okay, that's cool. Creepy, but cool. Far behind them, the black ship that chased them had vanished. For now, Zura set the ship on autopilot and stood up. Her skin still glowed faintly, but dimmer now. She walked to the back, sat down, and curled her knees again. Same position, different place, same silence. Jace followed her slowly. You okay? She nodded, but her eyes said no. He sat across from her. Listen, he said. I know I just met you, and I know your life is 10 times crazier than mine, but I need to understand. Why are they hunting you? Zura looked up. Because of what I am. And what are you? There was a pause. Then, softly, she said, a living key. Jace frowned. A key to what? Zura looked around the ship. Dusty walls. Old wires. A control panel from before the great AI revolt. Everything about it was ancient. Except her. My people were guardians, she said. We were born with a kind of energy that could unlock hidden tech. Weapons, yes. But also, truths, history, memory. She paused. One of us used it to shut down an entire battle fleet. Peacefully. No deaths. That scared the ones in power. So they told the galaxy we were dangerous. Cursed. Jace listened carefully, not interrupting. They made up stories. Said our skin color was a sign of evil. That we carried death in our blood. So one by one, my people were hunted. Zura touched her chest. I'm the last one left. Jace leaned forward. And that ship that chased us. Corporate hunters. Probably from Virion Prime. They want me dead. Or worse, captured and used. Jace felt anger rise in his chest. That's not right. Zura tilted her head. You really don't care what I look like. He shrugged. Your skin glows. So what? Mine burns under the sun. Big deal. Zura smiled, just a little. You're strange. Thanks. Suddenly, a loud beep echoed through the cockpit. Red lights flashed. Incoming message. Jace and Zura rushed to the screen. A shaky video feed appeared. A creature with one glowing eye and half-metal face. Zura, of the Obsidian line. It said in a deep voice, if you can hear this, come to the Rust Belt. Someone wants to meet you. Zura narrowed her eyes. Who? The message cut off. Jace scratched his head. That was weird. Who was that? Zura stood up. A cyborg. His name is Lumo. He was a friend of my mother. Before she died. Jace looked worried. Is he safe? Zura stared out the window. No one is safe in the Rust Belt. The ship changed course. Engines roared. A few hours later, they entered a dangerous part of space. Dark, dusty, filled with broken satellites and floating junk. The Rust Belt. Zura's body. Tins. She remembered this place. Years ago, she had escaped here, after watching her village burn. This was where the galaxy threw away its trash, and its people. As they entered orbit, a large ship appeared. A voice echoed in their ship. Zura, we've been waiting. Jace reached for a small weapon hidden in the tool cabinet. Zura stood tall. They don't want to kill me yet, she said. They want something I have. As they landed, Zura whispered something only she could hear. This time, I won't run. In space, even broken things keep floating. Dead ships. Lost cargo. Old war machines. That was the Rust Belt, a giant graveyard orbiting a forgotten moon. Nothing here lived. Nothing here died. It just waited. Zura and Jace stepped out of their ship onto a cracked metal platform. The air smelled like burnt wires and oil. The sky was black, but the floor blinked with old power lines still trying to work. Jace looked around nervously. Feels like everything here wants to fall apart. Zura didn't respond. She was already walking. She wasn't afraid of this place. She was born in places like this. A giant metal door opened with a long screech. Behind it stood Lumo, the half-cyborg, who had sent the message. His face was human on one side, metal. On the other one, I glowed red. His voice sounded like static in stone. Zura, he said. She stared at him. You knew my mother. Yes, he said. And I promised her I'd help you. If you survived. Inside Lumo's base looked like a scrapyard temple. Old tech was stacked everywhere. Parts from fallen battleships, AI brains, broken droids, Jace whispered. Is this place even safe? Lumo laughed. Safer than the rest of the galaxy. Zura stepped forward. You said someone wants to meet me. Lumo nodded. First, I need to see your blood. Jace stepped in. What? Zura raised her hand. It's okay. She let Lumo take a tiny drop of her blood. He placed it into a machine. The screen blinked, then flashed. Match confirmed. OBV11 code. Energy type, true core. Lumo looked shocked. You're not just a survivor, you're a key. He turned to a hidden wall and opened a vault. Inside was a small cube. Black, silent, glowing slightly. This is from the old days, Lumo said. It holds memory, proof of what happened to your people. Zura touched the cube. Suddenly, her skin glowed brighter. The cube unlocked and projected a hologram, an ancient battle, humans and aliens fighting side by side, until a new enemy appeared, ships with the Virian Prime logo, firing on both sides. Jace stared. They started the war. Lumo nodded. They blamed it on your people. To keep control, your mother tried to expose it. She died for it. Zura's eyes burned with anger. They won't silence me. Just then, boom. The entire base shook. Alarms blared. Lumo ran to the window. We've been betrayed. Jace looked confused. By who? Lumo turned, his eye glowing red. Me. Zura stepped back. You lied. I'm sorry, Lumo said. They offered me freedom. My body is dying. I had no choice. Outside, black ships dropped from the sky. Virian Prime had arrived. Zura grabbed the cube. We have to run. Lumo blocked the door. They want you alive. Give them the cube. You can still live. Jace pulled out his small blaster. Move. Now. Zura took a deep breath. Her skin began to glow again, stronger this time. The walls shook. Lights flickered. Energy formed around her hands like storm clouds. She raised one hand. The door behind Lumo exploded open, throwing him back. He hit the wall and didn't move. Zura and Jace ran. Enemy troops entered the base. Red lasers flashed. Zura raised both hands, and a wave of dark energy pushed through the hallway, bending metal, breaking guns, but not killing anyone. Jace was speechless. That was amazing. Zura said nothing. Her eyes were glowing, but inside, her heart was breaking. She trusted Lumo, and he sold her. They reached their ship. Jace jumped into the pilot's seat. I'll fly. Zura placed the cube in a secure slot. Enemy ships followed as they escaped into space. Lasers flew past their windows. One shot hit the wing, and sparks flew. Jace screamed, "We're not gonna make it." Zura stood behind him. "I'll guide the power." She placed her hand on the control panel. The ship responded like it knew her. The engine screamed. The stars blurred. In 1 second, they were gone. Silence, deep space. Jace breathed hard. Did we jump? Light speed. Zura nodded. Barely. She sat down on the floor. Tired, angry, heartbroken. Jace sat beside her. You okay? No, she said. But I will be. He placed a hand on her shoulder. You saved both of us. Zura looked at the stars outside the window. Next time, we stop running. Asterisk, long ago, stars died here. Not from age, but from war. This place was not shown on any map. Not even the pirates came here. The locals called it the Star Graveyard, a silent sea of floating wreckage. Dead ships drifted slowly, trapped in the cold forever. Zura stood at the window of their ship, staring out. Hundreds of broken ships floated in space. Some were ancient, others were new, all destroyed. Some still had symbols of her people. The obsidian line faded, forgotten. Jace looked nervous. We're flying into a battlefield. Zura corrected him. A burial ground. They moved, slowly, weaving between giant metal skeletons. A massive cruiser floated upside down, cut in half. A frozen body drifted past the window. Jace swallowed hard. You sure there's something here? Zura nodded. My mother said this place hides our last memory. As they passed a broken warship, a strange ping appeared on the screen. A signal, a very old one, buried deep. Zura's skin glowed softly. The ship reacted. Lights turned green. It's calling me, she said. They followed the signal to a small silver vessel, hidden inside the wreckage of a battleship. It had no engines, no guns, just one symbol on the side. 011. Zura gasped. This was my mother's escape pod. They landed carefully on the broken ship. Zura and Jace entered the old pod. It was dark and cold. Dust floated in the air. Inside, a small orb hovered silently. Zura reached for it. As she touched it, it came alive, a soft light. Then a hologram began to play. It was a woman, tall, glowing black skin like Zura's. Strong eyes, warm smile. My child, the hologram said. If you are seeing this, you are the last. Zura froze. Her eyes filled with tears. I was not able to save our people. But you carry the truth. The lie must end. The hologram showed images. The Council, Virion Prime, the weapon factories, the secret files. Then came the final message. You are not cursed. You are chosen. And if one human can stand by your side, others will follow. The hologram faded. Zura fell to her knees. Jace put a hand on her back. She's proud of you, he said quietly. Zura nodded. But her heart was heavy suddenly. The lights in the pod flickered. Warning sirens on their ship began to scream. Jace rushed to the cockpit. 3 ships had entered the graveyard. Black, fast, silent. Virion Prime, he muttered. Zura stood. They tracked the signal. They're coming for the memory. Outside, in the broken field of dead ships, the enemy arrived fast. Zura and Jace ran back to their ship and lifted off. Lasers flashed in every direction. Zura turned to Jace. We won't outrun them this time. Jace hit the controls. Then, what do we do? Zura looked at the wreckage. We hide in the grave. She guided the ship down between 2 massive ship remains. They shut off all power. Lights out. Engines cold. Like one more dead piece of metal. The enemy ships scanned the area. Quiet. Slow inside. Zura sat still, holding the memory orb tight. If they find us, Jace whispered, we fight. Zura shook her head. No, we protect this. No matter what. One enemy ship hovered above them. Its lights passed over their ship. For one terrible moment. Nothing moved. Then the enemy ship turned and flew away. Jace exhaled. We did it. Zura didn't smile. Not yet. As they flew away, stared at the orb. That message, her mother's voice still echoed in her head. If one human can stand with you. She looked at Jace. He was already checking wires, fixing controls, muttering to himself. A mechanic. A nobody. But he didn't run. He never ran. Zura smiled. One human was enough. To change everything. Far behind them, deep in the wreckage, a hidden eye blinked on. Someone else had heard the message. Someone who was not supposed to. Across the galaxy, people were watching. Screens blinked in secret basements. Miners on distant moons stopped working. Old soldiers raised their heads. Children with dark skin touched their arms and wondered if the stories were lies. Zura's mother's message had spread. Someone had leaked the memory orb's footage. Her truth was out, and now, the galaxy was listening. A silver ship cut through space, toward a hidden moon station. It was old, quiet, surrounded by peace ships. A rebel safe zone. Inside that ship, Zura stood near the window, arms crossed, glowing skin calm but focused. Jace entered the room. We're close. Zura nodded. Commander Saren is expecting us. She believes the message. She saw her own city burn. Commander Saren was once a top general in the Galactic Human Council. Now, she led the Reclaimers, rebels fighting to expose the truth. She met Zura with strong eyes and open arms. I never thought I'd meet one of your kind, Saren said. Zura replied calmly. I didn't think anyone believed us. Saren gestured to the crowd, waiting inside the station. Humans, aliens, cyborgs, all gathered to hear Zura speak. They believe now, Saren said. Go, show them who you are. Inside the great dome, Zura stood before thousands. Cameras floated in the air. Every corner of the galaxy was watching. Jace stood nearby, his hand on a datapad, face pale. Zura took a breath. My name is Zura, daughter of the Obsidian line. I was marked as cursed, hunted for my skin. But you've seen the truth. She raised the orb. A hologram played images of her people healing planets, ending wars, protecting the weak. She looked into the camera. You were told to fear me, but I am not your enemy. I am your memory. And I remember the peace they destroyed. The crowd stood silent. Then someone began to clap. More joined. Soon. The room shook with sound. Hope had a name now. Zura. Later. In a quiet hallway, Jace stared at the crowd cheering outside. We're winning, he said. Zura's face was calm. For now, but something in her heart didn't feel right. That night, while Zura rested, Jace received a secret message on his datapad. Encrypted. No sender. He opened it. A video played. Short, sharp. It showed Zura's energy being used to destroy a city. Innocent lives lost. He dropped the device. No, that's not real. But the message came with a warning. She is dangerous. When her power grows, she won't stop. In the control room, Commander Seren met with a dark figure in a hood. You're sure he saw it? The figure asked. Seren nodded. He won't leave her, but he'll start to doubt. Good, the figure said. Doubt cracks the strongest stone. The screen went dark. Zura walked through the station alone. Her mind heavy, her energy pulsing. She passed a mirror. For a second, she didn't see herself. She saw the image from the fake video, flames behind her, fear in her eyes. No, she whispered. That's not me. Suddenly alarms. Sirens blared across the station. A blast hit. The East Wing. Chaos. Enemy troops had broken through the shield. Zura rushed to find Jace. He met her near the command deck. There inside, she grabbed his hand. Stay with me. They ran through smoke and gunfire, but then bang. A laser bolt hit the floor near them. Zura fell. When she looked up, she saw a familiar face aiming the gun. Commander Seren. Jace shouted. What are you doing? Seren's face was cold. I believed in you, Zura, but your power, it's growing. We don't control it. We contain it. Zura stood slowly, eyes glowing. You used me. No, Seren said. I used your story. For the right reason. Now give me the orb. Jace stepped in front of Zura. No. Seren raised the gun. Zura's hand lifted. Her energy pulsed. Seren's gun shattered in her hand. Zura's voice echoed. I'm not your weapon. I'm not your fear. She grabbed Jace's arm and ran. They escaped through the emergency bay, stole a small ship, blasted off into the stars. Behind them, the rebel station burned. But ahead, the galaxy was still listening. Inside the ship, Jace was silent. Zura looked at him. You believe me, right? He didn't answer right away. Then finally, softly, I want to. There was no sky in the Hall of Judgment. Only a giant glass ceiling filled with stars. Cold, silent, watching. That was the design. The stars above were witnesses, and today, they would watch Zura stand alone. She stood at the center of a round chamber giant, bright, echoing. Around her, floating chairs held the most powerful beings from across galaxies. Humans, cyborgs, xenoscholars, even silent eyes. It was called the Galactic Assembly, but most just called it the circle Zura wore. No armor, no crown, just a long black cloak. Her skin glowed softly, like starlight under shadow. The whispers in the room were growing. That's the cursed girl. She destroyed a rebel base. No, she saved it. Her skin eats light. Her voice carries memory. Then came silence. The council speaker floated forward, a thin woman with silver eyes and no mouth. She spoke through light. Zura, of the Obsidian Line. You are accused of spreading dangerous information, causing chaos, and threatening galactic stability. How do you plead? Zura looked up. I speak truth. If that causes chaos, maybe the galaxy needed it. A ripple of gasps moved across the room. From the corner, Jace watched. He wasn't allowed to speak. Just observed. His heart pounded in his chest. He saw the faces staring at her. Not with fear now, but with doubt. Some soft, some hard, some curious. But in the back row, he saw another face. Seren, wounded, but present. She had survived, and she had influence. Zura continued. For centuries, my people were erased. Our power was labeled as a curse. Our skin was used as a warning sign. But all we ever did was protect. The speaker tilted her head. Do you have proof? Zura nodded. She raised the orb. A hologram bloomed. Her mother's voice. The memory cube. The false war footage. And finally, footage of Zura stopping attacks without killing. The crowd watched in silence. Then a counselor from the Virian sector stood. This is a trick. She is dangerous. A weapon. We have proof. She destroyed rebel forces. Witnesses say she burned walls with her hands. Zura stepped forward. I bend energy. I never burned life. My people created balance, not war. But who controls your power? The man shouted. Zura looked around. You asked the wrong question. You should ask who controls your fear. Whispers again. The speaker turned to the council. We must vote. Her memory stays, or is erased. She walks free, or is locked forever. Jace couldn't take it anymore. He rushed forward, guards blocking him. But the speaker allowed one voice. Let him speak, she said. Jace stood beside Zura, his voice trembling. I've seen what she is. Not just power, not just history, she's the truth. I don't glow, I don't carry memory. But I know injustice when I see it. He looked around. You erased her people because their skin scared you. But if you erase her now, it means you're still afraid. A long pause. The council began to vote. One by one. Some eyes glowed green. Others red. Cura stood still, silent, her heart steady. Then the speaker announced, the council rules in her favor. Cheers broke out in some corners. Others walked out in silence. Outside, on the steps of the great hall, Zura walked into light. Reporters shouted. Drones flew. The galaxy had seen her. Not hidden. Not hunted. Heard. Jace stood beside her. You did it. Zura didn't smile. I didn't win, she said. I survived. That's not the same. He nodded. But now, you're not alone. Far away, in a cold lab. Red eyes blinked. A scientist from Virion Prime watched the trial recording. She convinced them, he muttered. No matter. We have the backup. He turned to a pod in the corner. Inside it, floated another girl. Her skin was black like Zura's, but her eyes were empty. Before her, the galaxy was silent. It moved, it spoke, it ruled, but it never listened. Now it was listening. The skies above planet Iosha shimmered with satellites and media drones. Giant screens showed one face, Zura's glowing, softly, her eyes calm, her voice steady. Every world, every moon, every station tuned in. This was not a battle. This was something far more dangerous. A decision. Zura stood before the new Peace Council. Not as a prisoner, not as a threat, but as a symbol. Her words were simple. I don't want revenge. I don't want a throne. I only want what was taken. Truth. The council listened. Some nodded. Some couldn't meet her eyes. Behind her, Jace watched. No longer just a mechanic. No longer just a helper. He was now called Witness Alpha, the first human to stand beside the obsidian line. Still, he remained quiet. That was his strength. After the council session, Zura walked through the garden paths of the peace chambers. No guards, no chains. No chains. Just silence. She placed her hand on a tree, one of the few things in the galaxy not made by machines. Don't want to be famous, she whispered. I want to be forgotten. With peace. A soft voice behind her said, you will be remembered, whether you like it or not. She turned. It was a child. Human, no older than 10. His skin dark, glowing slightly. He smiled. I think I'm like you. Zura knelt down. Maybe you are. He pointed to the sky. They say you changed everything. Zura looked up. They're wrong, she said. I only reminded them. Across the galaxy, new laws passed. The obsidian line was no longer outlawed. All historical data was restored. Monuments were built. Children learned the truth in schools. But peace is a slow ship. Not everyone agreed. On a distant mining moon, a trader smashed his screen. That cursed girl ruined everything. In a hidden lab on Virion Prime, the sleeping clone of Zura, the one with hollow eyes, suddenly twitched. Its fingers moved. Its heartbeat returned. A scientist whispered, activate phase 2. Meanwhile, Zura and Jace boarded an old ship. Not fast, not fancy, just theirs. Jace adjusted the controls. Where to? Zura stared at the star map. Everywhere. You're not staying with the council. No, the truth is free now. My job is finding those who still hide. Obsidian, survivors. Zura nodded. If any still breathe, I'll find them. Jace smiled. Then I'm flying the right ship. She looked at him, grateful. You always were. The ship lifted off slowly, rising into the stars. Inside, the lights dimmed. Music played softly, a human song about rain and home. Outside, the galaxy watched the girl who once brought fear, now bringing hope, but far, far behind them. A dark echo was rising. A clone with her skin, her face, but no soul. Somewhere, the stars whispered, truth wakes the brave, but also the enemy.